because we're still using paid ads as our grassroots like tool. But how do you get yourself out there and be better?
Yeah. With paid ads now, because Facebook is going so heavily into AI and broad audiences,
Mm,
you really have to focus on copy first. Like copy and creatives has become the number one thing now. And moving into the future, even over the next couple of years, if you don't have your copy and creatives down pat,
mhm,
then you're just going to get left behind because the AI basically is trained now that it scans your copy and your creatives and it targets people based on what's actually in your ads.
mm,
So if you're not, calling out your target market, or if you don't understand who you're targeting and why you're targeting them, and you don't have a good product or a good offer, you're just not going to get very good results.
mm.
So I think that's probably like the most important thing is having a good product, having a good offer, and then being able to clearly communicate that in a way that is easy for the AI to pinpoint who it needs to target to sell your
Mm.
product to.
So with AI getting so much smarter too, though, like why is the human element still needed when it comes to making that copy super targeted and accurate?
Because in my experience, even with AI, it's still not 100% as good as like someone who really understands marketing strategy and is really good
Mm,
at it
mhm,
is still going to be able at this stage to be able to outperform the AIs. Because we know, especially if you know your product really well, you know your audience really, really well,
mhm.
and you're going to have insider knowledge that the AI just doesn't know. Um, that's going to allow you, to really dial into that market and that product and get your marketing really in line with your customer, which is something that, yeah, yes, you can train the AIs, but it is something that AI still really struggles with at this particular stage.
I think you're right. That is where it is. That's Facebook and how we're managing to like keep things current there. But you've also dipped into AdWords now. Like since we had our main AdWords girl leave, she actually was able to leave a lot of good resources behind, which you've now been able to assume for your own knowledge. What's that learning curve been like for you, actually? Because it's a bit different to Facebook marketing.
Yeah, so Google Ads is very different to Facebook. Facebook is very like creative heavy, like
Hmm.
images, videos. You want it to look good. You want to have good long ad copy to call out your target market and all that sort of stuff. Whereas AdWords the complete opposite. You've got very strict, very short character limits for headlines, body copy. There's no creatives unless you're doing like YouTube marketing or display marketing. If you're just
Hmm.
doing search, there's no creative element at all, really. So again, it's another one where it's different because you've still got to really understand who you're targeting and why, and be able to put that into super concise text with
Yeah.
super short character limits. And sometimes it is really frustrating, like when I'm trying to build a new campaign or something. And like the course has a really long name or something, I have to get really creative with how I do the ads to
Hmm.
try and make it perform the best that I can. But I think again with AdWords, it's really important to understand the market you're in and understand what people in that market want and how your product solves their problems. Because if you don't know that, you're going to be targeting the wrong keywords or you're going to have the wrong copy. And again, you're just going to be paid double what everyone else is because your ads or your quality score is going to be terrible, or you're just going to be completely targeting the wrong person.
And intent as well behind keywords is super important there
Mm.
as well too, because like you could type in horse and you know that horse is going to bring you up some result relating to a horse, but you don't really know what that person's looking for about horses when they type in horse. But something like horse hoof cleaner, you know exactly what's going on. So doing that kind of research, how much time in the grand scheme of things do you spend on doing that part of it versus like actually managing campaigns?
Probably building the campaign is the most time consuming part of the entire process. Once the campaign's built and live, like managing it and optimizing and doing occasional tweaks is actually quite easy. It is the initial research, understanding like the course and the target market and all that, and creating all the assets and everything that has to go together where it's the most time consuming. I mean,
Mm.
obviously Google does already provide its own tools like the keyword planner and stuff, which can help you, understand how much search volume some keywords are getting. But again, that's only going to show you the volume and stuff for the keywords you actually put into it. So you could
Sure.
be missing out on a huge bunch of keywords that are actually really relevant to your product if you don't know your product really well, or you don't know your target market really well. So that's probably my biggest learning with AdWords is yes, Google's tools can help you and give you a general guideline on what you should target and how you should do things. But the key insider knowledge is where you're going to get the wins over your competitors because you're going to be targeting keywords that they might have never even thought about.
Mm.
So that's kind of my major thing that I've found with Google Ads.